and welcome back to yet another Roversreports YouTube video. And today we have announced the third sign, well, fourth signing technically, but third senior squad signing it will be, because we all know Thomas Bloxham, he's going to be down in the youth level and do whatever there. We'd like to see him come through, it'd be nice. But we have signed the Icelandic Viking, we've signed Arnor Sigurdsson, and you know what? I think everyone's really hyped for this one. I think this is the one that's created the most interest out of any single one we signed. He's a player that's quite prolific in Europe. He's well renowned for that goal against Real Madrid, if you don't remember, in the UCL, a very good goal. And also his time at CSK Moscow before obviously what happened in Russia happened. I'm not going to go too much in that before Putin comes over here and shoots me himself. But, you know, we're joined here by Barney. Barney, what do you think of the signing? What is it? Is it something that tickles your fancy, or what are you thinking about it all?
I think it's a really good sign of where we're trying to go as a team. I think you'd be, if he plays a lot. He's the problem with the signing is, of course, it's not a striker. Like that's what we need. That's what we've been calling out for. But still, you can't reject class in your team. And I think if we brought a player in like this, who's very creative and he's still young, and you could call in some ways explosive player into the team, you won't say no. And we always need a player like this. I mean, I think I think to get someone who's played internationally for Iceland, I know some people might say, "Oh, it's Iceland." Well, I mean, Iceland beat England, as we it's hard to forget. But
Let's not bring that up. Let's not bring that up.
yeah, and I'm sorry for
That's
bringing
a
that
sore
up, but
spot.
but it helps us as Blackburn fans in the short term. But I think if you look at his stats, he's really good for especially when he was abroad. Less so when he was at Venezia, which is probably something that he wants to forget about because that wasn't a good spell in Serie A. But Venezia didn't do well either. But if you want to know stats for the team that he plays for right now in the Swedish league, which is Norrköping, I don't know how to say
Yeah,
that. Sorry,
yeah.
Swedish viewers, but he gets a goal and assist every 2 games, so it's a great output from wing as well. If you look at him for CSK, it's a goal and assist once every 3 games. He's always been a consistent provider for his team. Of course, as Matt mentioned, played incredibly well against Real Madrid, a goal and assist in the Bernabeu when they won 3-0 in 1819. And I think a player like this is just someone that you can't really turn away. I don't think it's a permanent signing, but even as a loan, it's still for the year, and we need this year to go up. We need this year to push on, to get in those playoff positions, and hopefully build on what we had last year. And I think if we got a player like this and maybe a striker, we've talked about strikers before, of course, but we don't. It's not a sign of like, oh, this is a signing just to fill a gap. This is a player that can come in and make a difference in our season.
Yeah, and like you said there, he's a very, very explosive player when it comes to the pace and raw talent that he has got. I've seen some highlights of him, and his ability on the ball is absolutely incredible. Again, though, like you highlighted there, he is a winger, and we do need a solid number 9. I've seen Gallagher in training. My man looks like he's been doing absolutely no drinking or eating. He looks like he's been absolutely hitting the gym all summer. He looks like he's just been constantly at it. So we could see a new Sam Gallagher. I don't know, but I preferably would want another number 9 in as well. But an interesting fact about the Sigurdsson who's come in, he can also play in that central role. He's done it plenty of times before. He's done it for Iceland before. He's done it for the Swedish team. He's currently out. I'm not even going to try and bottle that if there is any Swedish people watching. And also for CSK Moscow, his main position was the right wing coming into the central role. So I have got a lot of hope for him. Again, there you highlighted his time at Venezia wasn't good. Obviously, all round for them, it wasn't a good time at that point in the Serie A. They were lacking quite a lot in every single department. If I'm not wrong, this is the time where they had Ampadu and people like that playing for them, trying to claw everything possible to try and stay in the Serie A. It just wasn't a good time for them. So we can't judge him off that season in the Serie A, because we all know how financially some teams in different leagues just can't get to the standard where they want to. But one thing I want to know, Barney, how do you think he fits into this team at Blackburn? Because you said obviously a winger, but we know we're quite overloaded with wingers now, I'd say. Do you think that maybe he is getting brought in to play that central role?
Well, I think as a central role, I don't think he could be anything more than a backup to Sami Smodic. I mean, Sami Smodic was incredible at the end of the last season, and I think every single sane Blackburn Rovers fan would have him nailed on as a starter. I think some more skeptical Blackburn fans would probably think this could mean a departure for Tyrese Dolan, but I wouldn't say so. I mean, apparently contract talks were shaky shaky at one point, but they seem to have picked up better. And I think, keeping Tyrus Dolan is something that we need to be doing as a club. Young English talent, they're explosive, has a lot of potential. But I think if you brought him in, he's good competition for someone like Ryan Hedges, who goes through patches where he just can't hit the back of the net, can't for the love of his life hit the back of the net. And I think it just gives us a bit more options. As if you remember last season, we went through a stretch, maybe the last 12 games. I don't think we scored more than 10 goals. And, if you're really pushing for that, you've got to have someone that comes in and makes a difference. And he is one of those players that can make a difference. He's more explosive than, say, that we had last year, like Dak, when we brought him off the bench. Dak's a great player, as we all know, but he just didn't have that mobility that you need in the championship, as in a modern footballer. So I think as a player like this, as a rotation maybe, and if he hits a good vein of form, he easily could be one of our starters and one of our key players.
Yeah, and I think the weird thing there with all that is obviously he is on loan, like you said, for the start. But the only reason he's on loan is because of obviously what's going on in Russia at the minute. I'm not going to get too much into that, but it looks like it's going to be a loan with the buy basically being guaranteed at the end of his loan, whether that's in January at the end of the season, still yet to see how long the loan is going to be first. But I think if you take a risk like that with a player, I think no matter what, he is going to be a starter for you. I think with the profile he's got as well, he's got to be a starter. And that leads me to the point where you look at the players of Dylan McConaughey, Ryan Hedges and Tyrese Dolan. What do you do? Because, Niall Ennis has come in, he had a massive future ahead of him when he was at Wolverhampton, didn't quite do it there, went to Plymouth, absolutely smashed up the place there. You've got to think he's definitely starting on the left wing. Then you've got to look up front. If we're not going to sign another number 9, it's going to be Sam Gallagher guaranteed. I know JDT treats Gallagher like it's his baby. So you look at this right wing, and with Sigurdsson, he's not a player you just get in and go, right, good rotation for a loan, who, let's be honest, he will probably be on a higher wage than the majority of the team, even when he's on the loan with the percentages we'll probably be paying for him. So for me, bit of an awkward one. But, I mean, you look at like I said, you look at his profile, he's got to be a starter for me. I don't know about you, Barney, but for me, 100% a starter.
I mean, it's all down to what happens. You never know with the player that comes in. How many times have we signed someone and thought they were going to be a key part of our team, and then it just doesn't turn out the way you want. Like, for example, last season, we had George Hurst, we had players like Clinton Mola. They come in and you think, wow, what a great pickup for the team. Maybe they might be a key component, but I do see a lot of potential in this guy, and I think he definitely could be one of our key players. I mean, if you look at the Wikipedia page right now, I think there's a war going on between Blackburn and Burnley fans, because half of the page is saying that he's signed for Blackburn and the other half says he's not signed for Blackburn. So I don't know. Hopefully, it's basically confirmed, I'd say, unless something bad happens in the last few hours. But the signs seem good, and I think this is another great addition to Blackburn.
Yeah, like you said, the great addition. I think it's something new. It's something we've not had at Blackburn for a good while anyway, especially with the winger position. Last time we had a Scandinavian winger, we all know how good he was. So let's hope he can follow suit in that line. Scandi Rovers in full force in my beliefs. But I just want to say thank you, Barney, for joining us for this video.
No worries. Thank you for having me. Pleasure as always.
The pleasure's all ours as always as well. But yeah, that's all we've got for Sigurdsson, really. I will be getting either someone from Iceland or either someone who was following his Swedish team on another video after this, like I did with Tronstad. You guys seem to enjoy that. That hit 1K views, so thank you for that so much. Appreciate everyone who clicks on and likes as well. But make sure to carry on liking, make sure to subscribe, turn the bell on for all the latest updates, and yeah, make sure to enjoy it whilst it lasts, because all these Scandis coming in, all these deals coming in early. I don't know how long these deals are going to keep up for. I could see us having a very busy window and then it just cutting off full stop and having no one. So let's just enjoy it whilst it lasts, Blues, and enjoy the rest of your day.